Hey y'all, I am Daniel Aaron. Thank you for tuning in, and a little bit different this video than some that you might have seen from me before. And it's a video about freedom, and it's a video for our times, and this is a reminder for all of us that, like this ice, we're living in times of danger and times where we get to create emancipation. And honestly, these days it's a little challenging to choose which disempowered or oppressed group of beings I would like to lend my support to. So this morning, I'm going to leave it to you to choose who I'm talking about, and you'll see in a moment. 60s version 2, emancipation. Thank you for being with me on this path to freedom. Now, a little story for you. I was living in Holland at a place called Humaniversity back in, I don't know, around 2001. And it's a pretty amazing place, a somewhat radical place. It's called a university. It is a university, a addiction recovery center, an ashram. And I went there because I heard it was intense and powerful, and those were trigger keywords for me. I learned so much, I got so much out of it there. And one of the realms that we explored is intimacy and power and freedom. And these things are all related. One of the ways that we worked with is they put a great emphasis on freedom through intimacy. They encouraged us to date, and I've got other stories about dating and honesty and bravery. And pardon the background noise there, I'll introduce you to my friend Birdie. Hey Birdie, Birdie. Oh, well, okay. Sorry, she's not interested right now. So a lot of emphasis on dating and intimacy, and date defined as an agreement to spend time with someone. What you do in that time is up to you. And there was also an emphasis on sexuality. Excuse me. Not because sexuality is necessarily an end unto itself, though it is, as we all know, deeply related to intimacy. And one of the ways they worked with it is what they called therapeutic pleasure sessions. And some of you will hear this immediately as orgy. And I can't say that you're wrong, because I'm not an expert in the linguistic definition or variants of these. And I'm just going to tell you what happened for me, my experience of it, and you can draw your own conclusions or ask me questions about it if you like. And this particular therapeutic pleasure session happened in a group room, and the way it worked is on the floor of the group room there were mattresses laid out, mattresses, pads, mats. Basically it was like one big sort of sterile bed that was sort of a fabricy plastic coating on it, so relatively pleasant. We, those who were in the group, and in this particular one, thinking there was about 25 of us, were gathered in a circle around. And the leaders, the therapists, were at the front of the room, and then also scattered around. And the way it went is like this. Well, here are the rules of it. If, once we began, you wish to go into the center, you're welcome to. If you wish to take off any clothes, you're welcome to. Nobody is required to do either of those things. If you prefer to stay on the side fully closed, also okay. And nonetheless, those of us that were there were motivated. One, because we'd paid and we'd given our time to it. Two, a lot of the people that I was with there were in addiction recovery programs and some serious addictions, like life-threatening heroin addicts who had overdosed before, to the point that if they didn't sort of work out what was in the way of freedom or health, then perhaps they were not going to make it through another episode like that. And me, well, y'all know I'm just weird and obsessed with growth and freedom. I had a shake-up myself almost 25 years ago, which could be called an awakening. And after that, it occurred to me that I got to figure this out. How does this work? How does this human system work? we started the session, and because a lot of us were motivated, I'd say the majority of us, probably 21 out of 25, moved in toward the center, and of those, probably 15 took off some or all of their clothes, and I was amongst that group. And the only other rules really were that, all right, I'm just going to say it up straight, y'all. If you wanted to have intercourse, then you were required to use a condom. At any point, if you wanted a condom, you raise your hand, and one of the therapists would come around and give you one. And, there was a general understanding amongst us that we were there for the same purpose. We were there to take care of each other and to awaken. Now, let me give you a little background on this. I had been living at this center at this point for, I don't know, in linear time, probably 6 weeks, something like that. And y'all know how time changes when you're in a workshop or retreat or intensive. We all lived there. We did incredible amount of stuff together, intense stuff. We were really connected. And I had a girlfriend then. Her name was Suki, and we generally followed the guideline there of encouraged non-monogamy. Not everyone did that by any means, though her and I made an agreement about it, that we were there primarily to awaken, to learn, to grow. And at that point in my life, non-monogamy seemed like the best way forward. It was scary, and it seemed to me like part of the spiritual path. And that's a whole nother story about monogamy, non-monogamy, what that means, what the preferences are, and we'll come back to that another time. And for now, though, let's say that Suki and I were in an open relationship. We also had a real commitment to each other. We really loved each other, and we had made a choice together that when we go into those kind of therapeutic pleasure sessions, we would sort of avoid each other. We slept together pretty much every night, and we were there to awaken, and we knew that it was scary and difficult for us when the other one would connect with someone else intimately, yet we were committed to our growth and our exploration of that. So as I moved in toward the center, it also occurred to me, being the guy that I am, that, well, hey, you know what, this is a good opportunity for me to connect with some of the other people that I'm attracted to here, as well as see what comes up for me, literally and metaphorically. In any case, when I got toward the center, and I was one of the first ones in there, I met up with a woman named Alicia, whom I had known the entire time I'd been there. She was gorgeous on all levels. We'd had this attraction together, but never quite come together, and lo and behold, somehow we started moving toward each other. And by the way, there's we didn't have to have our eyes closed by any means, but there is sort of a general softness to the approach. It's a little bit like walking meditation, where you're walking, but you're kind of looking down with a soft gaze. There's sort of a reverence to the whole thing. And of course, there were no words spoken the entire time. In any case, her and I connect, and we're being affectionate, sensual with each other. I can feel some heat rising in me. I can sense it, or at least I imagined it rising in her. And as this is going on, I'm doing my best to be, like walking meditation, aware of everything else that's going on as well. And it was right around that time that I became peripherally aware of this guy coming toward me. And he's a great guy, whom I had known for a while there. We'd worked together, we'd been in groups together. I didn't know his sexual orientation or preferences. I've never been, excuse me, so great at having a gaydar. You all know that expression, meaning I just somehow often miss the clues that seem obvious to other people as to preferences. In any case, with him, I did have the sense that he fancied me, and I liked him a lot too, though didn't feel any sexual attraction to him, at least that I knew of. So, as he came closer, I was laying on my side with Alicia, and we were kind of facing each other. And there's a general acceptance that it's okay for us to touch each other. And of course, it's okay to say, you know, I don't like that, or please stop, or no thank you, or something like that. In any case, as I'm engaged with Alicia and we were kissing, and I remember my hand was on her face, I could feel this guy's hand on my foot and then my shin, and it was kind of like he was moving up toward me. And this was a point where I started to feel even more overwhelmed. I was already extremely stimulated with the whole situation, what was rising inside me, and the connection, the energy that was going on with Alicia. And then he's sort of moving up toward me, and by this point he's like crossed over to my thigh. Now, what's going on inside me in that moment? I can't say that I necessarily knew in that moment what was going on, though upon reflection I can tell you. And it was this. One, well, and probably the biggest thing, I was afraid. I was just flat out afraid of what was going to happen, right? Certainly I've had men hit on me before, but it's never gone that far, and it's never been naked, and it's been always sort of easy to clarify where I stand and what I want. And in this case, here I am naked, here he is crossing over my knee, getting closer to my genitals, and I'm afraid of, one, what if I like it? Two, what if I really don't like it? What if I have a homophobic response? What if I act in some way that's embarrassing or appalling to my own values? And one of my greatest values is equality, that no matter what our category, whatever category someone can put us in, whether that's by gender or sexual preference or by species, that we are all equal and deserving of respect and love and creating an amazing life. That's a deep value for me. So as he's getting closer, what will it mean if I like it? What will it mean if I react against it? Will I violate my own values? And honestly, I'm starting to freak out. And meanwhile, I'm like trying to keep it cool because I want to hang with Alicia, right? And I'm really excited about this. It feels like, it's been a long time, and I've been wanting her and she's been wanting me, and this seems like our chance, and that energy is there, and I want to follow it. And then he's climbing up my leg and he's getting up to my knee, and then the next thing you know, I feel him take hold of, two fingers take hold of my penis, which was at that point semi-erect. It was confused as I was confused. On the one hand, it was full attention for Alicia. On the other hand, it was like, what's going to go on here? And guys, you know what I'm talking about. What's stronger, fear or sexual desire? Right? Right in the middle of the most amazing sexual experience, if a bear comes around the corner and stands on its hind legs and roars at you, we know what's going to happen. So, homeboy takes my penis in his hand, and at this point I'm very aware of that, and I feel his hand on it, and then an amazing thing happened, y'all. An amazing thing happened, which is perhaps related to Mark Twain's great wisdom, which is, I worried about a great many things in my life, most of which never came to pass. And in this case, what happened that was so amazing? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I didn't feel any desire. I didn't feel any aversion. It was like a non-event. He held my penis there for a minute. I didn't have any reaction. I had some relief, no doubt. And because there was no energy there, he just moved on. Or I don't know what was going on, why he moved on, but he moved on. And Alicia and I continued to connect. And it was such a powerful experience for me, such a powerful lesson, mainly because I saw how much fear I had around that. What would it mean? What would I make it mean? And part of why I'm sharing this with y'all today is it's an extraordinary time we live in. And now more than ever, it's time for us to wake up to our own fears and our own projection of those fears, our fears that something is beyond our understanding, so we make it wrong or bad or want to control it. and I'm excited about these times because what's going on right now is the ice is melting. The ice that's been around our fears, our judgments, it's all coming up. And well, there's certainly a part of me that could be scared about what's going on. There's an even bigger part of me that's excited because this is liberation time, y'all. This is emancipation. This is time for those of us who have strong values of equality to stand up, to speak. Martin Luther King Jr., after Brown versus Board of Education passed, when we really got some traction into the emancipation of the African American people in the US back in the 60s, someone said to him, "Dr. King, what an incredibly long struggle. Were there really so many people that wanted to keep the black people down?" And he said, "No, there really weren't that many. The thing is, there were so many people that didn't want it, that didn't speak up, that didn't say." So y'all, here's my vote, my encouragement. Let's let our fears come up, as Jesus said, "If you bring forth that which is inside you, it shall redeem you. If you fail to, it will destroy you." So let's bring up our fears, let's face them, let's speak them, let's share them. And also let's speak up to others when their fears come up with love to them and say, "Hey, I love you, and I love those people too. I love you, and thank you for having the courage to say what you feel, and hey, let's talk about this. Are these people really any less worthy than you and I? Are they really any different than you and I? Or is it possible that we have more in common than we have different?" All right, y'all. I hope there's been something interesting, entertaining, valuable. I'd love to hear from you. I love you. I thank you. And I'll see you soon.